Sandy Alcantara. He is the best player in baseball right now. No ifs, no buts. Sandy Alcantara, best player in baseball. Danny DeVivo was in the house. We're going to be digging into all the reaction from last night's game. Plus, the pipeline has been updated, baby. We're going to dig into that and where all the Marlins sit on today's Locked On Marlins.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings from England and welcome to Locked On Marlins, your daily Marlins podcast with me, of course, Peter Pratt. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at MiamiMarlins_UK. Don't forget to subscribe to the pod. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is on YouTube and you can see my face right now and I'm looking better. How bad was I looking on Monday? This is now Wednesday's episode and I am back. Glowing eyes. They're looking kind of whiter than they were anyway, so that's good. And why are they looking white and why am I looking good? Because Sandy's an absolute stud. Oh, my days. The Angels are in town, and Sandy lit them up. He would have gone complete game if it wasn't for that eighth inning. The Marlins got that rally that wasn't a rally. But anyway, I'm not going to dive straight in. Introduce the guest. The Colombian stud is in the house. Marlins Twitter king, Danny DeVivo. Danny, how we doing?
I'm good, Pete. I'm really good. Just like you, man. White, right?
White, baby.
I mean, Sandy, that's all we got to say. We've been following for so long since he was brought in from St. Louis, and just wild ride for him. I'm feeling like the Jose Fernandez days. You know, it's that type of vibe. It's that type of when he starts, you just know something special is going to happen. So that combined with the team winning, that's
stunning.
What we want.
Mate, it's so good, isn't it? I'm telling you, like, you know, for me in the UK last night watching the game, it's a 20 to midnight start. I'm watching that game. Like, I don't care what the next day brings. I am watching a Sandy Alcantara start as deep as I can. I'm not going to lie, I fell asleep at the top of the eighth. So I'm just going to call that out now. I did. I fell asleep. Woke up, and I had that thanks for watching screen on my phone. So I thought, I'm not going to look at the result. I don't know. I'll wait until the morning and then watch the end. But I was nervous. I felt nervous. How did you feel watching that game? There was this nervousness there because you're going up against Trout and Ohtani. And I wanted Sandy to absolutely dominate and perform. And we had Jonathan VR in the lineup. And I thought, oh no, is there going to be a revenge game? You know, there's so many kind of storylines wrinkling. But I was feeling nervous. But I must say, I watched that first inning and there was no nerves after that. I was completely blown away. What about you?
When Sandy's pitching, I'm not nervous, right? I'm not nervous while he's on the mound. But my nerves is that our offense is incapable of giving him more than 2 runs, more than 3 runs. You know, he can never have a start where it's like 7 runs. Hey, Sandy, you can go rest after 7, right? Yeah. It's like he already threw 107 pitches, and now we're praying for him to come out. But we understand and are able to put ourselves in Donnie's, feet. In shoes, because he just pitched like 117 pitches 6 days ago, right? And you're scared. Hey, you want to win the game, but we still have months to go. And if Alcantara gets hurt, seriously hurt, we're screwed. That's it. It's over. So I'm nervous. As soon as he's out of the game, that's when I'm nervous.
I was about to say, how were the nerves feeling when Tanner Scott came in the ninth, and they got a hit, first hitter. It got a pretty hairy there. And after the game, Donnie said, I think someone asked him anyway how he's feeling with Tanner Scott in there. And I think he just said, he makes me feel nervous. I mean, he makes me feel nervous. High stuff guy, but can scatter it around a little bit. But I mean, he got it done in the end, but it would have been a catastrophe if Tanner Scott would have blown that game last night, wouldn't it?
And you could just see it, like,
it was building.
I'm a little pessimistic, I gotta say.
Yeah.
When your third hitter is Trout in the inning, and your fourth is Ohtani, and the first guy comes, gets on base.
Yeah. trouble.
I mean, you know it. I'm like, hopefully it's only 2 runs and we're able to come back in extra innings. You just, it starts to build, but he walked both of them and got the 2 lineouts. I'll take it. I don't care.
Take it, baby.
I do not care.
I'm completely with you. It was like you, the way the lineup was going to turn over. That's where you're thinking, okay, you get Sandy in there. Sandy will just roll through 9. He'll roll through 1. And then, okay, he's maybe got to make a big out to get Trout. Or maybe they bring in a bullpen arm to help and, have those just attack Trout or Ohtani, depending, if one gets on base. But, yeah, for Scott to come in.
Go through that. Like, imagine Sandy, one of the first 2, VR or the other dude, get on base.
Yeah.
What do you think he's going to do if Mattingly comes out, takes him out before Trout?
I know. And then Trout lights it up.
Yeah, no, you're going to bring your lefty to go against Trout instead of Sandy, and he's already at 120 pitches. So, that's what kind of the manager needs to go through when making the decision. So,
I'm with you.
Thank God it worked.
For sure. Hey, let me just ask you about Sandy, though, because, I think it's an interesting topic now where, we're not even at the All-Star break. The innings are high. It's not high stress. Like, Sandy just looks like he's an absolute machine. But at the same time, do the Marlins need to be a little bit careful with Sandy? Because it's just so easy to let him keep rolling 8, 9 over and over and over again. Do they need to be a bit careful? Because listen, like you said, if he tweaks something and he's out for a few weeks, a month, 6 weeks, the Marlins are sunk there, I guess, at that point. So do they need to carefully manage him, or is it just purely, listen, Sandy, I feel like a Rolls Royce, I'm just going to go?
Man, that's the question.
Yeah, it's so tough.
you would like pray that he doesn't have to do this every start, because as I said, if he is 6 runs over, like the team's winning by 6, you can take him out after 6 or 7, right? And just, it's all right. But here it's like, hey, you may lose the game if you take him out. So it's having that dilemma. On the other side, Sandy does seem to be built differently. That does seem to be the case. And he hasn't really had any injuries. Like, I remember this freak armpit infection because of shaving or something. That is, I think, I may be mistaken, but I think that's like the only important injury he's had in his career. So,
apart from COVID.
Apart from COVID, exactly. That's another random DL or IL stint. So he is built differently. So the manager just needs to kind of walk that line, but hopefully the offense answers it for him and allows him to just give him a rest every once in a while. It doesn't have to pitch 110 plus.
Yeah. I'm with you. He's pitching that length and a necessity, because it's 1-run games galore. When Sandy's going, the support isn't there, and it's like, well, we can't take Sandy out. We're leading by 1. He's at 80 pitches after 7 innings. Keep on rolling, Sandy. If he's got a 7-run lead after the 7th, it's like, listen, Sandy, take a blow, big lad. Protect yourself. I know you want the CG, but just sit down. Enjoy the win. And there's been some high-stress wins for Sandy in the last couple of weeks. It's been absolutely insane, no doubt. So a lot of fun. It's been amazing watching him, like you said. And it isn't just Marlins fans. It is US sports. It's beyond US. It's worldwide baseball fans now are feeling the same about Sandy like we do. People are there going, this is your Cy Young. This is your NL starting SP. Don't care about Tony G and his numbers. I don't care. Sandy is better. Because something you could look at like the ERA leaders and the wins leaders and go, wow, Tony Gonsolin's done this. People know. Tony Gonsolin is nowhere near to the level of Sandy Alcantara. Come on, what are you talking about? So I'm loving the national attention for Sandy, the recognition he's getting, and to be honest with you, Danny, he deserves. He is an absolute stud, and there is no one like him in the game right now, is there? Is there anyone like him?
No. It's not even close.
No.
People want to say that, as you mentioned, it's Gonsolin. How many innings has he pitched?
Like 85 or something.
Yeah, 80. That's a full 43 innings fewer than Sandy Alcantara.
How many? 43?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
It's like four
Sandy's
or
at
five games
123,
less.
right? Yeah, it's at least 40 innings. When Sandy was at 80, 70 innings, he was probably also at 140 ERA. But
Yeah.
for him to get at 120, that's what, 5 games?
Yeah.
5 games where he can just have a bad outing and that ERA jumps to 2. So, yeah, don't try to tell me that Gonsolin is better than Sandy because of the ERA or because of the wins. He plays for
No.
the Dodgers. Of course he's going to have more wins. I mean, what are we doing? He's
Absolutely.
undefeated.
I know the All-Star game is in LA, so there's an element of a home starter and whatever, but not a chance in hell. I think Sandy starts that game for the NL. What about you?
I think so because I know that Snitker knows him, right?
Yeah.
Snitker knows Sandy Alcantara, and I think he appreciates him. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope. I mean, they can't make that mistake.
No. I know. There was a bit of bad blood in the playoffs with Sandy and Acuna, obviously, where there was, he hit Acuna in a. Listen, I mean, it was the playoffs. He was not trying to intentionally hit Acuna in that spot. I think it was like a runner on base, big moment. But I remember post game, there was a question towards Sandy about that, and kind of Sandy responded. It's not his first language, obviously English, and he responded in a way of saying, "Listen, if he wants to fight, I'm ready to fight." Was kind of the response he gave. Off the back of saying Acuna looked like he was, making an aggressive move to the mound, Sandy was like, "Cool, I'm ready to roll." So there's a bit of history there.
He always looked like he's going to go to the mound, but he never does.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm going to say.
He turns more corners than Blade, I tell you, Ronnie Acuna, no doubt. In terms of going to the mound, he's never going to do that. So there's a couple of guys I want to talk to you about from the offensive side, but it's our first ad with US ad with a British twist rolling up now. So I'll let you pause on that for a sec. And also, we've got the pipeline to dive into. But guys, this episode, delighted to mention, it is brought to you by our friends over at Blue Nile. BlueNile.com. You can celebrate all of life's special moments, from creating the custom engagement ring of her dreams to gifting a classic and timeless jewelry piece, all at the prices you won't find at a traditional jeweler. So if you're ready to pop the question or celebrating that moment, find jewelry as unique as her with modern convenience of online shopping at BlueNile.com. So are you thinking about that? Are you thinking about the question? Are you thinking about doing it at Loan Depot? Imagine that. Blue Nile, they've got you covered. Simple online tools to let you choose the diamond shape, size, bigger is better, clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's jewelers will then handcraft her perfect engagement ring, and each ring, it's one of a kind. A bespoke engagement ring. Absolutely sensational. So, if that's what we're thinking about, we need to get ourselves over to BlueNile.com, and the promo code, this is what you need now, guys, for $50 off any order over $500, locked on. So BlueNile.com, use the promo code locked on, $50 off any purchase of $500 or more. All right. So, Danny, a couple of other bits from last night. Cooper Loop bomb. Talk to me about Coop. He is absolutely on fire this year. He's been hitting for average. He's slightly changed his game, it feels like, but last night he got a big one out. And, he's just been on fire the last month and a half. Just Coop, healthy Coop. The DH as well made such a positive impact to that man's game, no doubt about it. What about you?
He's an animal. I mean, he is so good. He is such a great hitter. And we knew it,
Yeah.
We fans knew from the start, like, if this guy is able to stay healthy, he's our best hitter. And he is. Like, he's toned down the power a bit, but he's still going to end up with 15 plus if he stays healthy again. But the OBP, just the awareness as a hitter, like, he knows when a ball is, like, you always see his face. He knows exactly if a ball is a ball instead of a strike. And you can see the face. He's like, that's when you know how good hitters are. Like, there are other people that are like, no, let's start fighting when it's clearly a strike. With Cooper, like, he knows, like, best hitter on the team, and I'll fight anyone on that.
Yeah. Well, the numbers don't lie. I mean, Coop has been clearly the best hitter in the Marlins lineup this year, apart from Nick Fortes, but I mean, the sample size is small. So, but I'm with you on Coop. He's been sensational. And then Brian De La Cruz. It was Brian De La Cruz last night again, wasn't it? Or am I getting
DLC
confused?
hit a bomb. You know,
The DLC bomb.
Yeah.
I was starting to think it was 2 a.m. when that happened. So, but again, Brian De La Cruz, back-to-back days with big bombs for De La Cruz, both of them massive bombs. Great to see De La Cruz. He had full playing time when the injuries kicked in. He did kind of scuttle, it felt like. Now he's gone back to this kind of more benchy role. Next thing is he's actually back delivering. So great to see for De La Cruz. A good asset for the Marlins, too. I think a really nice fourth outfielder, De La Cruz.
Absolutely, man. He can field, and when he's hitting, he's a really good hitter. And yeah, as you said, he's just a solid number 4. So good to see him get hot. Absolutely, and just combined with the different moments that our hitters are having, it's a good problem to have every single day. As long as I don't see Williams and Hamilton in there, we know it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, for sure, mate. It's funny, the way the roster's kind of been constructed. Obviously, Avicel got tossed last night for arguing with the umpire, rightly so, because the umpire had an absolute stinker. It was one of the worst umpiring performances I think I've ever seen. Avicel was tossed. Donnie kind of came out, a token gesture. I don't know what about Donnie with his umpiring thing. I think he just goes, I can't affect it, so I won't bother getting tossed. I don't know. Avicel had already gone. Next thing is Luke Williams in the cleanup spot there. I mean, not good. It was either Luke Williams or Billy Hamilton hitting cleanup in a one-run game against the Angels. I mean, it's been an interesting construction of this roster. I was really shocked, actually, that they went with Billy Hamilton the other day when Soler hit the IL. That was a really interesting and surprising move. I was expecting at least Heyrar, if not, going, hey, let's get Blade up and see what he can do. But Billy Hamilton's up. I mean, what was your take on that one?
No, don't get me started. That's just a big thing for me. It's what are we doing?
It doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. As soon as I saw Billy Hamilton signed a minor league deal, I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. You just know that even though he's starting at AAA, next thing that happens is going to be him, and it was. They're kind of afraid of bringing up the top prospect in case they don't work, and then they're down flexibility on the roster. But I mean, you did the rebuild. Now trust your prospects. As a prospect guy myself, that's what I need to fight for, right? It's trust the prospects, trust the process. It's time. Let them come up. There's been several days where Williams or Hamilton have started, or here's an ejection where they had to use one of those two. Yep. That should be used for this team's future, and the guys you mentioned are the future.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I'm with you. The roster construction has been, let's just call it interesting.
It has been interesting, brother. No doubt. It felt at times like 2021 when you had these, they kept on just over and over and over again, adding these guys that they were willing to DFA. That's what it boils down to. They're happy to DFA these dudes because they don't care. The Astudillos, etc. The Devin Marreros from back in the day, Eric Gonzalez this year, all the same kind of dudes. I just don't understand. Soler goes down. You've got a ready-made replacement in Heyrar Encarnacion, who's already been up and hit a salami, sitting there in AAA. And you bring a Billy Hamilton. What the hell? You know the drill. They've got no off days. They've got BA and Wendell coming back from injuries that they're going to nurse into it. There's going to be tons of playing time and at-bats for everyone. Billy Hamilton's up. Listen, he's doing stuff on the bases. I don't want to drag this podcast down. The Marlins are on a hot streak, and I do not want to drag this podcast down. So we will end it there. I'm going to read the final ad, and then we're going to get into this pipeline update, mate, because that is the meat and potatoes of this show. No doubt about it. And there are some spicy stuff in this update. So, final ad of the day, guys, and it is our good friends over at BetOnline. And BetOnline.net, it's your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs and Major League Baseball. And it's your continued source for sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. So, and they've got everything in there. Every sport you can think of. It includes MMA, boxing, and golf, and probably tennis. Wimbledon's absolutely on fire at the moment. So what do you need to do? Get yourself over to the website. Use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. Bet online, where the game starts. Danny, where are we going to start on this pipeline update, mate? I know where I want to start. when we were thinking about an episode for today, I was thinking about one man and one man only, the number one prospect now for the Marlins per the pipeline update, Eury Perez, brother. He is absolutely sensational. Is there anything more we can say about Eury Perez? Should he be the number one prospect for the Marlins, though? Is he the number one prospect in your opinion?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
17th.
Yeah, it's too low.
Too low.
Too low.
It's too low.
It is.
I mean, they have Espino in front of them, and Espino's amazing. The Guardians prospect.
Yeah.
Eury's better. I'm sorry.
Oh, baby.
I have to say it. He is better. He's the best young pitcher, best young prospect in baseball. So I'm removing Grayson Rodriguez, who's kind of on the older side of prospects. Baz, like that group, fine. But from the younger kids, the Harrisons, the Espinos, the Leiter, Eury, it's him. He should be up there, and he's gonna keep going up, man.
I mean, what's the progression plan looking like for Eury Perez now? I mean, he's only 19. He's been in Double-A, most of the year.
How
are the Marlins going to play it with him? Are they just going to go sod it? He's just too good. He's going to crack the major. If things go wonky, let's say a couple of guys go down, is there a chance Eury Perez could be pitching this year? No.
No chance.
Just imagine
no
that. But 19.
No, they're absolutely gonna protect the kid. I'm assuming he's like at 60 innings. I'm assuming he already has some sort of max amount of innings. It's 75 last year. This year, you gotta think it's gonna be 100, 110. Yep. And he'll probably stick at Double-A. Maybe they surprise and send him to Triple-A for the last 4 games or something.
Yep.
But I think
they did the same with Max last year, didn't they? They kind of gave him a little taste right at the end.
Right at the end. And they did that with him as well with High A.
Mm-hmm.
He pitched at Low A most of the year, and they give him 20 innings or something at High A.
Yeah.
That may be what they do with him, but that's what I think will happen this year. And if all goes well, no injuries, knock on wood, they'll just let him go. They'll let him go next year. Maybe started Triple-A, and he's right there ready.
Oh, my days.
Depth. Yeah, it has to be a 20-23 years. As long as he's healthy, that's when I'm seeing the debut.
Do you know, does he have to be added to the 40 man? He's not a 40, he's not a Rule 5 eligible guy, is he? No.
No, he was signed in 2018. I think there's one more year.
One more. So they got 5, haven't they, on that? So. Okay.
Yeah, but you want to touch on that. It is a long list for Rule 5 guys. So they're going to have to trade of either them or guys that are blocking him on the floor, blocking them.
Yeah. No doubt. At some point later in the year, me and you are going to have a full Rule 5 session where we'll come together and we're going to review who's eligible, who should be gone from the 40 man. We're going to try and piece it together. And some of them may need to be moved by trades, mate. There's just too many guys knocking around. This is the problem when you've been in a rebuild for 5 years and you've done it pretty well in terms of acquiring talent at the minor league level. You're going to have a bottleneck. And we're about to have a bottleneck at the end of this year like you've never seen. And so the Marlins are going to have to be busy and they're going to have to be cute with what they do. All of these Devin Moreros and Eric Gonzalez's, they are a thing of the past after this year.
Yeah, no, we'll do that show in November. Let's give it 2 weeks after the Marlins win the World Series, so things can die down. Yeah, right. Things can die down.
Hangover cure.
There you go.
Absolutely, brother. Okay, Eury Perez.
By the way, Eury, before finishing with Eury, futures game that was confirmed 100%. He will represent Miami. I don't know if there's going to be another one. It's not confirmed, but 100% confirmed. Eury Perez will be at the futures game there with Sandy.
I'm about to say, mate, what a combo. The league will be looking around going, oh my days, the Marlins, look what they can do. Sandy here at the big league level and Eury at the futures game. Oh my days, they're shaking in their boots. But they can't have developed some pitching, no doubt. Let's flick to the hitting then, because that's the really interesting one in the pipeline update, in my opinion. Khalil Watson. He's been in the news this week in advance of today's pipeline update, and it was for negative reasons where he was called. It was a swinging strike, and yes or no. The umpire said yes. A pitch later, he was then called out, struck out, and as walking to the bench, Khalil Watson gave it a kind of gun kind of motion with it using his bat to the umpire, basically saying, that was a terrible call, perhaps, but nevertheless, Khalil then slides down the pipeline. So he was the number one prospect, I believe, for the Marlins on the MLB Pipeline. Now he's sliding to number 51 and the Marlins number 3 prospect. So what's been going on with Khalil this year? It felt like he started on fire, and then the strikeouts maybe have come in bunches on that after that.
A few, let's call them yellow flags. Let's not call them red flags yet. But yeah, the strikeouts have been rough. The league adjusted to him, and he hasn't been able to adjust back.
Yeah.
It happens. Like, we would have hoped that the adjustment would be quicker. Hopefully he adjusts, but it hasn't happened, and it's been pretty bad now for more than a month. And the attitude thing is a little bit more worrisome because this isn't a one-time thing. He hasn't played since that happened a week ago. And the reason for that is because those things keep happening. He does something that he shouldn't, he gets benched. He does something that he shouldn't, he gets benched. So at some point, it's like, okay, dude, we've already punished you 4 times for things like these, and you keep doing them. So he just needs to kind of tone it down, I think. And
I'm with you.
Concentrate on the game, and calls will go your way sometimes they won't, and because it's that one's a little bit more of a red flag.
I'm with you, mate. I do remember just when in and around the kind of signing piece, there was some comments knocking around then. I don't know, just the vibe. I didn't like the vibe he was giving off. Listen, an exuberant young dude, clearly a toolsy guy, but nevertheless, you just can't be doing them types of things. He's been playing at what? High A? Low A? Low A. But either way, straight into low A ball as fresh out of high school. So, they were testing him. He showed the pop. Everything was looking great. Then, like you said, he's maybe feeling the frustration. Maybe that's what it is. And then you just can't do that to the umpire. You just can't be doing those types of things. He just needs to grow up in his head. It's a learning curve. It's a learning curve for him. Nevertheless, 52nd, it looks like, in the pipeline. Does that feel fair in terms of an adjustment downwards for him?
It feels fair. He was at 25 or something to start the year, and 40% K rate will scare these platforms. So yeah, I think that does look fair.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Sandwiched in between them, Max Meyer, the only other Marlin on this list. Max Meyer is in there. I don't think Keith Law does this list. He mustn't do. So Keith, but Max is in there. I mean, he obviously had the stint on the IL, a couple of starts in the lead up to the IL stint where he was changing his game effectively because he was feeling some pain. But it's been another brilliant year in the minor leagues for Max Meyer. He looks ready. What's your sense with him right now? Are we going to be seeing him in July? Would that be your gut feel on this? Or are the Marlins going to hold off and it's going to be later?
It depends on Castano and Braxton, apparently. I would have thought that one of those two would be doing really bad by now, especially Castano.
Yeah.
But fortunately for the Marlins, it hasn't been the case. They've been doing so well. Braxton, man, I'm so happy with his development. If it's not to stay in our rotation, it's a solid trade piece now, right?
For sure.
Same for Castano. I mean, he's brought in a cutter. I mean, wow, he also looks better. So I'm not sure if they're going to demote them or something to the bullpen with that, like if they're providing results. But I feel like Max is ready. Judging by his last start where he just did amazing and they took him out after 6 innings, 61 pitches, maybe the team still thinks that he's recovering. Fine. But if I were to guess, I'd say yes. Before August 1st, I'd say, yeah.
We see him. It's funny. Me and Sean Barrett were talking about this very topic on Monday's episode. I said the funny thing, it's really hard for the Marlins now because those two dudes we just mentioned, both of them are performing well. Braxton Garrett just had a career day. Castano's had 2 career days against, the Phils and someone else, in the mix. His last start wasn't as good, but, he's still doing great it's hard to make a move. However, you kind of look at it and go, you would take Max Meyer over both those dudes any day of the week, like you just would. But, the Marlins have got to try and make some decisions here. At the same time, clearly, you don't want to, Max is only at 60 pitches. So you're assuming they're still building him up a little bit. It'd be his debut. There'd be some rocky patches in there anyway. So I think they're right to kind of sit waiting. But July, and just to kind of round things off here with the big league club too, July is just a massive month for the Marlins. It really is. Like for the big leagues, they just have to continue this momentum and have like an 18-10 month. They have to. Otherwise, they're going to be cut adrift. They really are, and it's going to be tough. And the deadline will come and pieces will go. But it's a big, big month, and I want them to throw everything at it to try and capitalize on this soft schedule and just try and get themselves in a position where they're 5 games above 500 or something crazy. And we're all like, wow, we dared a dream. We dared a dream, baby. So we'll wait and see what they do.
It's going to be huge. Let's see how Braxton and Castano do against the Mets.
Yeah, I know. Tough ask, isn't it?
Tests after tests. Yeah.
It is. If they can get through the Mets series, then it really does kind of soften up nicely then for the the next couple of series. So intrigued to see what they do with Max. I do still think there'll be a point where something will happen. Someone will have a bad start. Someone will have a little injury, and Max will be up before August 1st, same as you, mate. So we're running really late on time, which is standard for me. What I do need to ask you, though, mate, is because you're into the prospects deeper than deep. Who are the names, if we're thinking super, super sleepers, not for kind of top 100 overall guys, but they may be in the future, but there's a couple of names that you're kind of thinking about, like Eury Perez types from 2019 that are kind of hidden gems no one's even heard of, but Danny DeVivo knows about them. Tease out a few of those names for us, mate, so we can mark this in history right now.
All right. We'll come back to this in 2 years. Really quickly, though, I do need to mention this name, Jose Salas.
Oh, yeah.
Not a top 100 prospect yet, but he's coming. He's not one of the two that I'm mentioning now, but he's so close. He has to be.
Yep.
2 guys, 2 pitchers. Let's not say Eury Perez, because Eury is one of a kind. Let's not put that kind of pressure on these kids.
Yeah.
But I got 2 names. One that's, I'd say, a top 50 prospect right now because he's so young and he hasn't pitched anything. That's why he's so low, but he could immediately jump up lists. Damevi Tineo. That's the name. Damevi Tineo.
Okay.
Tineo.
Okay. Give it to me one more time.
Damevi Tineo.
Okay.
Tineo.
Okay. I'm working on that one.
Lefty pitcher, 6'3", very deceptive when he pitches. Fastball is going to be in the high 90s, if not now, soon. Slider is nasty. Yeah, slider is nasty. I got from another player on the Marlins organization, Chris Sale comp. Just to give out a name. Obviously, let's calm down. We're talking how he looks, how he pitches, his stuff in terms of velo and what he depends on, what type of pitches he depends on. Chris Sale comp. So just keep that name in your minds. The maybe Tineo lefty.
Love it.
Still 18 pitching at the FCL.
Okay. Lovely.
And the other kid that I had is one that just signed. Even he's lower, 70s maybe because just so young. Santiago Suarez.
Okay, I can say that name easily. Santiago Suarez. Love it. That one's good. Sounds like a footballer.
He sounds like a footballer. It's true. Santi Munez.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. Yeah. So Santiago Suarez, right-handed pitcher, 6'2", still 17 years old. Again, he just signed. He's at the Dominican, but I've heard great things about the kid. He's already up there in fastballs, already showing results. First few pro starts. Those are the 2 names: Damevi Tineo and Santiago Suarez, among others. There are a lot of young kids that just are exciting right now.
No doubt about it. There we go. So we've marked that down. 6th of July, 2022. when we get these two guys on your radar, and you'll look back in 2-3 years' time and go, wow, do you remember that when Danny DeVivo did it again? It's exactly what he's going to have done on Locked On Marlins. So there we go. We're bang out of time. We're over time, which is standard for us. But anyway, I think it's been very much worthwhile. We've dug into Sandy's start. We've dug into the Marlins win streak. We've dug into these pipeline updates, I guess, and what it means for the guys in there. Plus some deep sleeping names. Danny, for those that aren't watching and don't have the graphics to help them, they're listening in the podcast version. Where can they find you on Twitter if they aren't following you? Which I would find shocking, knowing that you were, of course, the Marlins Twitter king, version 1.
The Twitter account, that's pretty much it. It's at Daniel DeVivo, DeVivo, that last name. Super easy.
There you go. Love it. All right, guys, that is us done for Wednesday's edition of Locked On Marlins. Thank you for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. It's Peter Pratt, Daniel DeVivo signing out for today. And also, if you're thinking about your second listen of the day, then why not try Locked On MLB Prospects? It's hosted by Lindsey Crosby, and he is a prospect encyclopedia. Big back in there. And he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. So we're back tomorrow, and we're going to be previewing a 4-game series against the Mets, which in my opinion, for the Marlins, is must win. Big game tonight. We didn't even talk about tonight's game. Ohtani on the mound against Trevor Rogers. Stunning matchup. The Marlins need to win this one too. And then a 4-game series against the Mets. That's Peter Pratt, Daniel DeVivo, Locked On Marlins. I'm back tomorrow.